Hello, hello. I'm trying to find the button.
Hello.
Hello.
How are you today?
Oh, pretty good. Something to look forward to. Cookie therapy, not
Yes.
just for. I look forward to it. I hope everybody looks forward to it.
Yes.
Hello,
I
Nadine.
sure am. Hey, Nadine. Nadine is west side of Canada. Hi, Tracy.
Hello, hello, June. Welcome. Hello, everyone. I hope you're all well.
June's been so good. She's been sharing our announcements.
Oh, thank you,
Getting
June.
us some more cookie therapy people. We appreciate it. Hi, Allison.
Welcome, everyone. So today, I'm going to be kind of working on a recap of last live stream, just because it was actually, people were quite excited about it. So I think I'm going to go just a little bit more in depth with it. Susan, hello. Hello, Sarah, Maggie.
Karen
Denise.
made it. Karen and I are going to meet up in Leesburg one day and go Dollar Tree shopping.
Oh, wow. Awesome. Hello, Olga. Hello. So welcome, everyone, to our little Tuesday cookie therapy where Bonjour Mylène, where we kind of chit-chat cookies, we decorate, we answer your questions. If at any time you want to rewatch, like you don't know what's going on, you just wait at the end, it gets uploaded and you can rewatch it at your leisure, replay parts that maybe you didn't quite, we go a little fast. We are fast talkers.
Yes, we are.
Right?
Hey, Rebecca. Hi, Susan. Hey, Jennifer.
So I just want to pop this into, I'm going to do the camera dance here, switch it out to show. See, these are some of the previous, this is today's project, so we'll move that. But this is some of the last week's, like we've been doing lives for several weeks now. So if you go on Facebook or YouTube, you can rewatch the past videos. And I'm on Fridays as well with Hanielis and Sweet Anne's, and you can rewatch those live streams as well.
Friday was great. Friday is packed with info.
Yeah, there was a lot of good stuff. So if you're new to the live stream, we offer the templates on a platform called Ko-fi. So it's, hold on, let me just put it up here so you can kind of see is it this one? No. Is it this one? It's this one. So that's the link. And after that, the /Montreal Confections, well, it would be Seriously Sweet for Amy's page. And so today, during the live stream, we reduced the price of the template. And so that's my templates for today. I reduced all of the Easter ones as well, since Easter is like upon us.
Yes.
And Amy also has some templates for what she's going to be working on today. So you can visit her, like Ko-fi there. It's written on the screen, /Seriously Sweet. And mine, we have today's template and then some previous ones. So we're going to kind of be working on the big pansy today.
I can't wait. That cookie looks so pretty, and it would tie in so nice with the one you did last week.
So this one is the last week's tutorial. And so this is a bigger version where you can kind of add a little bit more detail to the flower. So here, is there any questions? Rebecca.
Hey, Rebecca.
Another Marilyn. Everybody wants to put an I in my name. I'm saying hello. You put in a hello. Hello.
I put in a hello.
All right. So let's talk airbrushing. So first thing I want to kind of explain, if you've never airbrushed, airbrush colors are translucent. It's not like icing where you pigment it and when they're next to each other, they are what they are. Airbrushing, when you layer colors, you see there the purple. When you lay purple on top of, you see all the bubbles. I did a yellow one, a blue one. Well, you see how they can kind of get muddied when you layer airbrush colors. Certain colors layer well, other colors do not layer well.
Mm-hmm.
Laying green on top of pink, no. You could put yellow on top of green, but it's not going to be yellow anymore. So you just have to kind of imagine them kind of like when you put your sunglasses on and everything's pink. You know?
Right.
Kind of that
Sherry. My sister's on with us today.
Which one is she? Sherry. Hello, Sherry. And so, yeah, that's just something for you to think about when you're airbrushing. And so I know there's a lot of different flowers out there that we could be working on, but the pansy is, it's kind of like an airbrush dream in that they kind of look like they're airbrushed. If you look at them and if you Google pansies, pansies are a funny flower. They seem to come in like a gazillion different kind of color, right?
Different varieties, right? They're beautiful.
They really are. And then you get the ones that are kind of more ruffly. There's more ruffly versions. I'm not up on the flower names, but they're really a kind of flower that's very, that works with this. So just to look at the template there, so you can see all the kind of parts. And I did make a template. If you see at the side there, it says cookie. So that's the template here. I have it in my hand where I hand cut the cookie. And so this is a cookie cutter. So I just hand cut the cookie and then I flooded it in white. So when you're airbrushing, like I say, the colors are kind of transparent. So if you're airbrushing on a pink cookie here, well, you're not going to be able to get that yellow. You're not going to be able to get your green. So you need to be working on a white canvas or else your colors, like I said before, get muddied and just don't look as pretty and as true, right?
That's beautiful with the purple and yellow. I think that's really the most prevalent pansy everyone's used to.
Yes. Well, here you can see I did 2 versions. I was experimenting with it. And if you like to play with colors and experiment, this is one that's quite, like I say, it's a project that's fun to play with. I think a hibiscus would be a fun flower also, Olga. You're right.
Which cutter is that?
It's not a cutter. It's hand cut.
Okay.
So the template is there on the sheet to hand cut them. It's right there. Now you could shrink it and put it on a plaque, but I wanted them to be big pansies to put like in a box. You know, this is like, I'm thinking Mother's Day.
Right.
So here you can see this one has an electric green background. This one has a blue background. And if you look at this one, I tried to do a drop shadow. So you can see here the gray right on, it's brown actually. I did a bit of a drop shadow. So we're going to start on this project. Enough chit chat. So if you want that template, it's on the ko-fi.com/Montreal Confections. I like to work on a paper towel when I'm airbrushing. Airbrushing does get away from you, but I have been noticing that since I've been using my hand, like the wireless airbrush, I find that the compressor is not as strong as the electric one. And so there's less overspray all over my kitchen.
That's awesome.
Because it does make quite a mess. And so there's 2 templates, right? There's the template for the cookie, and then there's the template for masking. So when you're airbrushing, if you want to do a whole airbrush design, you're doing a dance between masking, which is protecting the surface or the color that you've added, and then you're leaving areas open to actually receive color. So here I've got this mask to protect the flower area, and I'm going to be adding color around.
And those are dollar store magnets, right?
They are. The Dollarama. So I'm going to actually add the around in Wedgwood. Now you could add the icing exactly the size of the flower, but what happens is at the edge of icing, it gets round. And so by having it like this is completely flat and then the roundness is there. And airbrush does like kind of, it's hard. You see how that was so windy that it moved it? So that's what the magnets are about. So airbrush does, it's hard to not have it go on the cookie. So if you get your icing really to the edge of the cookie, you're not going to have so much of that overspray happening. So now this is not really, precise stuff. I'm just basically adding a background color so that when I remove this, let me grab a needle. So something to think about when you're working with airbrush is water will ruin the surface. So you want to avoid water. See, so now this is like either a skyish type, it's just something contrasting.
It's beautiful.
Let's do the other one. I'm just going to work. So ideally, if you don't have a gazillion airbrush guns, you run through that color that you're doing on all your cookies so that you're not having to clean out your airbrush for each cookie, right? So let's say you had a dozen of these, you do all the blue, wash your airbrush, and then move on to the next color.
And Mar, I don't know if anyone's asked it or not. Do you have a favorite brand of airbrush colors?
I do use Americolor because my color gels are Americolor and I want them to match, right? And so that's why I stick to that. But I do have also some Chef Master and Rainbow Dust that I like.
Okay.
But usually I do tend to stick to the same color. So now if you're airbrushing, the thing, like I said, is the masking. So once I've airbrushed now, this is kind of wet, not softly wet, but kind of wet. So you want to wait for it to dry before you start layering more stuff on top because you could damage your surface, right? So this, I work with both cardstock and plastic when I'm making these. So when you've got this perimeter, well, it's really helpful to know where to then position your next stuff, right? So now I'm going to add my leaves. So this is just mint green. I'm going to shoot the rest of my blue in the garbage. And I don't have to wash it because blue works with green. If you didn't know, yellow and blue make green. So if I add green into my blue airbrush gun that's got remnants of it, it won't really impact the color too bad. And now I'm just hitting a bit harder, like I'm on the paper actually hitting, because I want the perimeter to be somewhat darker, you see?
Right.
And then I'm going to go lighter. And if you look like at things that are like painted or the reflection, there's usually like where the light is hitting, it's a bit white. So you can just do full coverage, but if you want it to look a little bit more kind of painted and whatever, you can kind of work with shading it. And if you have several shades of green, well, you can come in and darken it with, you know, tones of brown. Or this is painting. It's no less painting than with a paintbrush. It's just you're able to control things a little bit more.
Right. Anybody have any questions? I don't know if our feed is stuck or not, but nothing is scrolling over there.
Oh no.
No, I think we're okay though. They must not have questions.
Everybody's mesmerized.
Yes, they are.
So now this is the other stencil, which is basically like the fine line detail. Now I did make the lines a little bit on the fat side, and it's up to you. You can adjust the lines on the stencil if you have a silhouette or a Cricut. You can make them a little bit narrower. You just, you know, tweak the lines if you wanted to. The smaller the stencil, these lines will work, but the bigger you go, the fatter they are. You know what I mean?
Right.
Now you can use a different shade of green. You can just go darker. You can go with brown, black. I wouldn't go maybe black, but gray to add your veins to your leaves here, you see?
Olga, the link is available at the discount. Are you leaving all your Easter at the discounted price?
For the live stream, yes.
For the live stream, it'll be discounted. So all of that will be discounted during the live stream. So
there's the leaves. I'm going to work on the other one as well. And this is how you want to work, right? You don't want to be, like I said, changing color. If you've got 12 to do, this is how you're the most productive.
Right.
Stick to the same color.
Efficient, right?
Yes. Time is money. If you're able to make, you know, in an hour, 20 cookies or 3 cookies, well, you can't charge necessarily that much more because you're not efficient worker. You know, there's a limit to how much you can charge a customer. So if you maximize your efficiency, and they don't need to know that, you know, airbrushing is faster painting than hand painting. This is technically hand painted. They don't need to know the ins and outs of you know. And I find I'm not very good at the whole like watercolor thing. My colors get muddy. I can't keep the colors separate. It looks just so unprofessional, I want to say, when I do it. So I stay away from it. It's not something I'm good at. And we all have our strengths. Some people are amazing painters. That's great. It's not something I'm particularly good at. And it's not something I want to work at. I want to have it work like quickly and easily. But you sure get a nice look doing it like this because it really does have that look. Exactly. And I designed this stencil. And if you're good at drawing, well, design your own. Create your own kind of, you know, colors and sections and all that. So now we've got that done. We've got the background, the leaves. It's looking great. And now I'm going to jump to the next portion of the flower.
It's so pretty already.
So this is the bot. So now I've got, you know, a lot of holes in this plastic. So you want to protect the areas that are open that you see your icing is exposed. You want to maybe put a paper towel or something just to kind of protect so that you don't get overspray, right?
Somebody's asking about, Maggie, you're asking about the link for the Ko-fi. I believe that it's at the top, but if not, we'll drop it in a few minutes. But I think they're at the top. They're definitely at the beginning of the video when you go to rewatch.
Here, I see it. It's over.
Is it in
it's right here, there at the bottom.
There we go.
So now I was experimenting with different colors, and the fuchsia by AmeriColor is a nice pansy color, I have to say.
The fuchsia, you like that one the best?
Well, it's doing, when I was looking at different flowers, it really was kind of like the pansy color that you know.
So beautiful.
And so you can you see how easily you can kind of control the area. It's like the whole thing isn't getting muddied. You're just able to kind of color what you want to have colored. Darker on the perimeter. If you're a beginner painter, this is kind of like how you can kind of control things. You see?
Yes, beautiful.
And I don't know if this airbrush is going to work. It was temperamental. One of them is out of commission. My gun was not working before, so I'm going to try to.
Let's see.
Is this going to? It's going to give me a problem during. Yeah, I'm going to try to make it work. If I flip the trigger. See, I want to have a shadow coming from. So these are this is 2 back petals, and then there's like this. Oh, there you go. It died. Rip.
It said no more today. This
no
is
more today.
Why you have multiples, huh?
I'm gonna rotate next one.
All right, guys. So this is the link again for Ko-fi to get this particular template. And but you know what, Mar? It doesn't have a dash after the FI. So I'm going to retype it real quick, okay?
Thank you.
I'm going to fix that real quick. And it just take me a second, guys. You just keep watching what she's doing.
So see the shadow there? That's just so easy to do. Then you're adding a shadow. And I work with multiple guns, so I don't have to wash out my colors. And then you can kind of adjust if you want to have it like a little bit more faded. You could bring in another pink if you want in there. So I'm going to just switch the cookie out and work on the next cookie. It's the same one. Like I'm going to repeat the same thing. But there's so many different colors you can do. But just because of the live stream, it's hard for me to do like a huge variety of colors to demonstrate for you guys. But really, you guys get creative and make them the way you want to have them. I saw pretty blue ones.
Yes. All right, that is Mar's link, and I'm going to type one in for the Seriously Sweet, so we'll be ready when that comes up. I can't believe how much definition you're getting already. That's incredible.
So this is, but with the stencils, it's easy. So there's the shadow coming off of those top petals, and now I'm just, which gun is it that I want? So if you do buy an airbrush, I have them linked in my shop on Facebook. You want to avoid getting an airbrush gun you see it's spitting. Do you see it?
Mm-hmm.
I don't hate it on some flowers, but today I'm having technical problems.
Today you wanted something finer. Oh, I'll put mine up in just a second, Tracy. All right, so I'm going to put Mars. I'm going to put yours back up so they can see it. This is $2 during the live today, as well as all of her other Easter templates. And if you feel so inclined, when you buy those templates, they're $2 or whatever you want to pay. So if you want to help support the broadcast, that's where you would put that in. And what we love so much about this site that Mar found is that all of the money comes directly to the artists. So we can do more for you faster.
So you can see it's spitting. My airbrush is like, that's because like it's not been cleaned or there's residue at where the needle is.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't hate it on a flower. Sometimes it actually like this pickup work.
On the pansy, it kind of blends in great, doesn't it?
Yeah, it kind of looks good. So we're gonna go with it.
We're gonna say we did it on purpose.
Exactly. And so now you see I did 2 sections for the outer petal. So last one I didn't have the inner kind of section for inside here, you see. So you can decide if you want to leave that white or if you want to have it yellow. So if you're going to do the yellow first so that you know where to position the middle one. Because if you do the yellow first, you will not know where to position that. I have to watch the airbrush gun, Amy, so do some talking.
Okay. So I'm going to put the, why it spits like that. I know mine does that sometimes too. Let's see. I'm going to put the links back up. So today Mar has all of her templates that are Easter related on sale during the broadcast for $2. And I think there's like 6 projects in there that you can snag those all at the same time for $2 each. And then I have some Royal Icing transfer templates up for you today. Only one of them is Easter. The other 2 are florals. That's our 2 Ko-fi links there. Or you can just buy us. Mar, what does yours say? Buy you a cookie cutter?
That's right.
Yeah, Mara just has a flat out donation if you don't want the downloads, but you want to help out. You can buy Mara cookie cutter. I think mine says buy a sweet tea, I think is what mine says. Because I know you all know I don't drink coffee, so I changed mine.
So I'm shielding, protecting the hole there, and now I'm going to come in with the yellow and add a yellow border around those top petals.
Looks great.
And so you can go as dark as you want, but if you want colors to be dark with airbrush, you have to build them. Don't pull the trigger all the way back and add a ton of color. It just doesn't dry well. It can get like drippy and stuff. So you do a pass, kind of let it dry, and then build, make it a bit darker. But don't go in and add a ton of pigment all at once. It just gets like kind of, it just doesn't look as polished, you know, like it doesn't. Like if you're rolling out your house, the paint on your walls, you don't want to put the 3 coats in one pass, you know,
right.
like
right.
It just will not be good. So you want to layer it.
Just won't look nice, will it?
Well, it just will. It just gets really like the wetness can get under the stencil and it just looks kind of sloppy. So there, position for the yellow, and then I'll know exactly where to position that center color.
Love it. Hey, Mimi, you made it. How are you doing?
There we go. All right. So now I can position easily the little middle area. Now, again, you can decide how much color you want to have. If you want to just do a center, you see it's kind of like works for the center here. It's like spraying, but it kind of looks right, I find.
You know what? This would be great on a bearded iris because that's actually what they look like.
Oh, yeah?
Well, yeah, they look like that.
I'm not going to go like more than that on that one. And did I flip my stencil around here? No, it's like this. And this one is less confusing. Last week's stencil was a little bit hard on my brain. This one's a little bit easier to...
We're going to put that one in the blooper reel, Mar.
When I was trying to figure out what the heck was going on. So now I'm hitting...
See, so that you guys know it happens to us. That may wind up in the blooper reel.
Yeah. So now I hit right at the edge. And this is the way to keep that yellow looking very... Oh, my son is texting me.
Oh, someone else is ordering your templates. I thought it was Ko-fi alerts.
No, it's my son. Please answer fast. I have no idea what's going on.
Do you want to take a look? I'll put the links up again. Thank you guys for ordering these templates. Oh, and Fabiola's here today too. Hello.
So I think there might be a fire drill at school.
Oh.
So guys,
drill. Do you need to check?
Give me two. Like, seriously, I have to look. I don't want to look, but
here. So guys, here's the link for Ko-fi if you want the templates from today. Plus Mar has a bunch of Easter ones on sale. And then I'm sure when I go on, she will post the thing for the information to join her her monthly group, the school that she has on Patreon and on Facebook. Okay. But that's the two links. Are we covered?
Well, you know what's happening. So the kids have been told to go back to school. The government sent the kids back to school, and people don't want to go back to school because of COVID. The teachers are concerned, and so there's a protest. That's what's happening.
Oh, wow.
So that's why he's like, I want to leave. I want to leave. So that's what's happening. So his father will deal with it.
Hey, Allison, we're so proud of you that you are working on the stencils, aren't we, Mar? She said learning process between new program and learning to make the stencils, but she's given it a go.
Yes. Well, it's fun because you can make your own kind of designs and everything and still be artistic. If you're making your own stencils, it's just as artistic. And even if you're buying stencils, you're the one that's giving him, like, you know what I mean? Like, you're designing, you're picking your colors. So now this is the top portion. Now,
Courtney, I'm not sure if she can answer that because Mar works on a silhouette. She's asking if you know how to make the stencil lines thicker on a Cricut.
In silhouette, there's like a thing that you go outside the line, like a bump out, kind of like, I forget what it's called.
Okay.
But I think I saw recently the Cricut just added that feature on their program, actually.
And Fabiola, yes, last week's stencils are up there as well.
So now.
And the templates are also in the cookie school, Julie.
Yes, I
and
added.
Courtney, she's in Canada.
So this is the purple. This is the purple on top of the fuchsia. So this is the color that I had used to do the shadow.
That's so beautiful.
And now I find that this is the Chef Master purple, and I like this particular one better than the purple from Americolor. And you can see here, you see the detail. So you
can see it very well on camera today. It looks great.
You can decide how fat you want the lines. If you're cutting the stencil, like I said, you can make them narrower, or you can completely, you can just have the veins. You don't need the outer, one.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And you can decide how dark.
And I love that you were able to get so much on that. That's a 6x6 stencil, right?
Yeah.
I love that you were able to get so much on there.
So there. And here's the next one.
This may help you with getting it thicker. June is saying she believes the offset 0 is for making lines thicker in the silhouette.
That's it. It's the offset feature. Thank you, June. I have
offset.
Here,
and Laura's made it from Africa. We're so glad you made it. And if anyone is missing Jeremy, he's having family time today, but he did check in so we would know he was okay.
There. You see? And flip. Now, I did 2 cookies. What is the time at?
You're fine. It's only 1:30.
Well, that's what I mean. I painted 2 cookies talking, not even working really fast, or you know what I mean?
You would have been much faster without us here chatting, huh?
No, but I'm just talking about productivity. If you were working and you were actually wanting to make this as an order. So last thing I just want to show. So here are the two cookies, like done in no time.
Look at that.
And I wanted to experiment to see, I've got actually some icing here. I wanted to see if I did a little brush embroidery on it.
Oh, that would be so pretty. Are you going to try that right now?
I am.
Okay. I'm going to answer a question while you're doing that. Jay has just popped on. The cookie cutter, there are several cutters on the market you could probably use that have a flower in the offset edges. Someone suggested Sugar Bell earlier, but this particular cookie that Mar is doing is that's so pretty, Mar. That is a hand cut cookie, and the template for that is available in the Ko-fi link today with all of the stencils. Stencil Mar created, and that's all available, and I'll pop those links up for you. Okay. And June is saying stunning.
So here you can see it's a color match. So this is the fuchsia. You see the edge of the petal there. You're able to really like bring in icing detail.
Lucy, you and Mimi need a day to just print stencils. Oh, and someone else is saying there's an Anne Clark one that's similar to this. All right, and I am going to pop up the links again, Mar, so they can get your stencil, okay?
Thank you. So if you're going to do the brush embroidery, normally, you know, you're doing a damp brush, your brush has to be really not too wet because the airbrush color kind of gets really impacted by the water, right? And so you don't want to muddy all your airbrush work so that, you know, and I'm trying to stay within the fuchsia. I'm trying to not pull into the yellow.
That is just beautiful. And wow, what another level of detail that adds to it. It's gorgeous.
Yeah, just because you're doing airbrush doesn't mean that, you know, you can't make it your own, you know, like, I don't know,
beautiful.
Like cheating or whatever, but
you know what? This would be so pretty on dress cookies. This combination of techniques, if you needed to make some fancy dress cookies, like some of the ballroom dresses and things this summer, this would be gorgeous to combine these things.
Yeah, and you could combine with, I mean, you know what I mean? Like, let your creativity in. So there it is. So that's the inside. I'll try the outer ones to finish it off so that it all looks the same, and then we'll be done.
That's beautiful. And she's using Americolor today, guys. She used Americolor airbrush, and she's using Americolor gel, right?
Yeah, it was Chef Master just for the purple airbrush. I find that it's got like a little bit more pinkish color to it. Do you know what I mean? Less, the blue makes it more, I find, grayish.
Well, they're loving it. Everyone's saying gorgeous, beautiful. They love the embroidery. Karen loves the dimension.
You could even do the brush embroidery on the leaf if you wanted, you know, to come there. So,
Julie. All right.
Yeah.
That is just so beautiful.
And then the last thing to this one here, I'm just going to kind of add, you know, that middle there. And I did make, to show, like we did last time, a sheet. I airbrushed a sheet of wafer paper to make the middles. And then you can kind of see.
So Mar, they're asking if airbrush color essentially dries almost instantly.
It really does. That's why if you build slowly and don't add a ton of it, you know, when you're working, well, then it dries fast. If you add, like you say, oh, I want it dark, well, it's going to be more wet. So you have to build it, you know.
And the icing, how many seconds would you say that lace icing is? Is it toothpaste? So it's like 30 or more?
Yeah, it's like you want it to kind of hold, right, as you're doing the brush. First of all, if you have a ton of moisture, well, your chances are you're going to kind of muddy up all your airbrush, right? All your airbrush sections. So this way it keeps everything looking very pristine and kind of like you're not messing up your airbrush.
I really love that wafer paper added for the pansy. So
the wafer paper is translucent. And so if you have, let's say you want this top part, you see it's white. Well, if this had been dark purple, like it doesn't look as nice here. You can kind of see it on the green. Do you see what I'm saying?
Right.
Like the background color matters. So let's say you don't even want to fill this in. Well, you could leave this white and then put it on top and it'll make it brighter because it's white behind it. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. That's beautiful.
Yeah. So there's the two versions. And again, let's bring in the other kind of pansy version. You can see the little one. See? It's just
Could you just see this as a Mother's Day set? I think this would be beautiful.
I mean, birthday, Mother's Day, you know, any kind. I mean, even Jeremy said he likes pansies.
That's right.
So there's an option for projects and like inspiration for you guys to kind of experiment. I was wondering too, like let's just one last experiment I wanted to see is if I have my brush dampened, if when I wet this,
if it'll watercolor. Oh, look how pretty. I really like the ones where you did the blue around the edge.
On the flowers?
Like where you just, that one is, didn't you do blue around the edge on that one?
This is a purple.
No, the very border where you just
yes, this is Wedgwood.
Yeah, it just pops.
So there you can kind of, you know, like.
Sugar sheets are not the same thing as wafer paper, but it might work,
Well, the
right?
sugar sheets, I think, will be more prone to snapping and cracking
Than the
if,
wafer.
you know, like when it's out, it tends to dry.
So, Michelle, who is a Culpeper local, wants to know what we do with all these cookies.
Well, I'll confess, a little bit like when we watch the Food Network and they've got these crazy spreads, you know, a lot of that just goes in the trash. And unfortunately for me, I just can't keep up with all these cookies. And with COVID, I'm certainly not going around to gift them. So they do go in the trash, I'm sorry to say.
Right.
But I mean, it's my artistic medium and it is what it is. I mean, by the time I film a video and get everything ready, they're usually stale anyway.
Right.
So that's it.
When I know what we're going to be roughly doing, I just start popping out cookies and they're all in a bin. No one eats them.
Yeah.
The ones I'm going to use for the tutorials. I have a practice set and a set I do on air. But exactly. The stack, I have to get rid of the stack. I can't keep them all.
Exactly. I mean, it's the nature of, you know what I mean? We're teaching.
Yes.
And the canvases. So I hope you enjoyed that. Not so bad. I mean, like really, I think that if you were, I'm looking at the time it took me to do those two, really like crank them out in a reasonable time frame. And the other thing I just want to mention is if, let's say you were to do this, well, you could freeze the cookies with the white icing and put them in the freezer.
Right.
Do not freeze airbrush cookies because the condensation will mess your surface. And then the day before you could airbrush them and boom, you'd have your cookies. A great last minute project.
Yep. You can be way ahead by doing that.
Yeah.
So this is the link, guys, the Ko-fi.com. If you either just want to contribute to help Mar keep making videos for you, or today during the broadcast, she has all of the Easter templates and stencils that we've done over the last maybe 6 weeks. They're all up there for $2 a piece. And today's is up there as well.
Allison has plenty of people willing to take her cookies.
Yeah. She's in my local cookie group and she makes lots of cookies for people, which is great.
My son doesn't eat the cookies usually because they've been sitting for so long by the time I get, you know, done with them that they're no good. Like I need to take pictures, I need to film, so they're sitting for a really long time. And so that's why he doesn't eat them. That's why.
And Mar, a little further back, somebody had a question about whether or not all of the templates that are on the Ko-fi site today, if they are also all in the cookie school.
They are in the cookie school. They are. I added the big pansy today. I think I added it yesterday, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, so they're all there. I put them on the Ko-fi because some people don't want to do the monthly, and I understand that. I can appreciate that. So this way you can kind of buy what you want. Cookie School, Courtney, it's a monthly kind of subscription where I have like classes, video pre-recorded content and templates, and all the lessons are there to access. That's what Cookie School. You can get to Cookie School on Facebook or Patreon.
And there's a ton of information on there, Courtney, and it's like $5 a month. It's not expensive at all.
How do we print? You can save them on your computer and then use the program that you have, like whatever your program is that you like to use for your images. The thing about Facebook, Patreon, I have Patreon and Facebook. Facebook only allows me to upload either PNG or JPEG, whereas Patreon allows me to upload the silhouette files. So I upload silhouette files there, or PDF. PDF holds its shape. You know, if I put it on a letter size paper, well, you can print it on a letter size paper. JPEG can go a little wonky on you. So you need to kind of know how to print your images.
Oops, sorry, guys. I think I have all these things turned off and I put everything in airplane mode because I hardline plugged in today, but I guess that doesn't stop the other.
So Susan, last week somebody said that you can use silhouette files with a Cricut. So I have no idea, but she said that you can. So maybe you want to check that out.
There's probably a YouTube video on it.
Yeah, and from what I understand, JPEG files convert to cut files, so you can use the JPEG files to make your stencils.
All right,
Amy. So
I'm sorry.
I said you're in demand.
Yeah, well, they tried my personal cell and then they tried the store. So they know I'm here, but they should also know I'm on a live. So I'll get back to them.
So Amy also has the templates project that she's working on today, and that's on her Ko-fi, and there's the link /seriously sweet to get to hers. And are you ready to go?
I am ready. I switched my cameras.
The camera is.
Oh, good. It is going to show up good. In the little picture, it looked real pixely. So guys, today I have the 3 templates up. One of them is Easter. And then 2 of them are floral. So we're just going to quickly do a few of these, and then we're going to switch over and put some that are already done onto the cookies. This is just something if you need to make some last minute cookies for Easter. Easter's this Sunday. Maybe you want to, put a few things together at the last minute and you need it to be quick. Who knows? Something could have gone on in your life last week and you're behind and you just need something a little bit faster this week. Okay, so you guys know when we do royal icing transfers that you can pipe them on wax paper. You can pipe them on parchment paper. And I like to use cookie bags. These are food safe cellophane bags. So I went ahead and made your templates this week on 8.5 by 11. But if you have taken a transfer class from me, a royal icing transfer class, your items are normally set up in 6 by 6. And the reason I do that is because I like to have a nice piece of heavy cardstock or cake board. And then my template is set up in a 6 by 6 so that it fits in a 6 1/4 inch bag. I pipe right on top of the bag that the template's in. That way I can pull it out and move on to the next one without having to print 16 of a template. I just have one. I usually laminate them to protect them. And then when these are done and dry, I pop it into a 6 1/2 inch bag with that piece of cardstock in it to keep it firm. And then I store them. So I have similar storage for my stencils and my transfers. But this one's in 8.5 11 to keep it easy for everybody. So sizing wouldn't be an issue. And we're going to start with the Easter one first. We're just going to do a couple carrots because I think this is something you can do easy and you can do it fast.
And they're cute little carrots.
They're cute, aren't they?
Well, you can put them on carrot cupcakes.
Yes, these are great. That's why I'm actually piping these. I needed some cupcake toppers for this week for my Easter cupcakes. So I thought I'd do a little double duty here. But I just cut the tip of my bag. I have a really thick toothpaste consistency icing. I'm going to lift this so you can see it. I like when the carrot has dimension. So that does not bother me at all. But if you want a perfectly smooth carrot, you want it to be smooth and you want to hand draw on lines, you can do a little wiggle here. Right? I'm going to show you the difference. You just need to play with this to see what you want your carrot to actually look like. And I'm just using this cello bag on top of this as a guide. I'm going to do a couple of these really quick. And then I'm going to show you the potting soil that I made because the cookie I'm going to put these on, we're going to pipe some grass to go with it. So this is edible potting soil. This is crushed up Oreo pie crust with a heavy a coarse grain white sanding sugar and then little white nonpareils. So, this is what the potting soil looks like with the fertilizer balls and stuff in it when you get it at the store. So I'm just going to take a little bit of this. I want my carrots to look like I just pulled them up out of the ground. Right? So I'm going to put a little dirt on them. And hopefully the ones I did earlier that are in the dehydrator are dry enough that we can pop them off. But if not, you'll get the general idea. I'm going to lift my little cello bag. I love it because it works like a funnel. I'm going to put it right back into my container. And then we're going to go ahead and pipe the leaves. And then we're going to pipe this whole thing into the dehydrator. And I just have a nice sage green. I think all my colors today were AmeriColor. So this is just a nice sage green. And let me see if I can do this on camera for you. Instead of using a tip, I'm going to flatten the bag. Can you see that? And I'm going to cut it like a chick's beak. Normally, I would not do this over my cookie area, but I want you to be able to see it. All right, I get that out of the way. And let's see if you can see that. Let me hold it up over this. Can you see how I have that beak? It looks like a bird beak. So now I'm going to turn it. And I'm going to go ahead and add the tops on my carrots. So if you need to use the template, use the template. I think you probably figure out right away what you need to do with this, right? So this is our carrot. I'm going to turn the whole thing around because I'm right-handed. So let me turn this around. And I'm just going to roughly fill this area. Templates are really a suggestion for you. If you want 3 stubs coming out the top, if you want really bushy, you can do that. If you want just 1, I'm going to show you several ways. If you put less pressure on the bag, you can get more of the little stems. And I'm making sure that I have overlap, that everything's very well connected so that when I pull these off the transfer sheet later, they're all very well connected. They're not going to be weak. They're not going to break. But these are great for cupcake toppers, for decorations on cakes. So I'm going to lift this so you can see it. But isn't that cute? And these would be so great if you want to do some vegetable cookies later in the summer. I'm going to pop this in the dehydrator. And let's see if the ones I did a little bit ago are dry enough. And then we'll pull out a cookie and move on and add these to a cookie real quick, okay?
Olga, thanks to everybody that bought our templates so far. Thank you. What's the consistency on your green icing?
That's a real stiff. It's toothpaste. So like 30. It might not even be a 30, to be honest, because you see it never settles down. Can you see these are the ones I did earlier? Right? It's just, I take it to where it is a very matte finish. It's very thick. It holds a stiff peak. And then earlier I made a very highly textured cookie in an ivory colored background. I thought this would be pretty to put the carrots on for the color palette today. So let's see what happens. I'm not sure if these will be dry enough. I'm just going to loosen them right here at the top, and then I'm going to just fold them off. Now, usually I do these 24 hours in advance, but I decided last night late to do the carrot. So with peeling that cellophane back, it actually pops right off. So we're in good shape. Am I still on frame here? So I'm going to add this to the cookie. I need just a little bit of the same color icing behind it. And I'm just going to do just something cute for Easter. So I'm going to put a row of these across, like 3 of them. Little bit of icing on the back. I'm using the same color icing so that if it squishes out when I push down onto the cookie. And guys, these are not normally delicate, but I just made these about 4 hours ago. So you won't have to be as careful.
I said, you need to let your transfers dry. Sometimes we are last minute and you're like, oh, they must be dry. Well,
sometimes they're not.
Make sure you make extra so you can do a check. But, you know, if it doesn't work out, don't make exactly what you need.
Right. And I always have, I like the box system that Mar uses to keep hers in. So this is pretty cute. I'm going to show you 2 things you can do with this really quick, just for a fun Easter cookie. We're going to go back and use, I think next time, Mara, I totally have to turn this phone off. I thought I'd be excited to see the Ko-fi thing, but it's a little unnerving that it keeps going off.
Thanks, everybody.
Yeah, thank you. I love it. I'm going to find some nice, cool sound, a nice background sound that goes off when you all donate. I don't know how I'm going to work that out yet, but so I'm using that little beak, just making these little points. And you guys, you can make a darker green if you want to. I wanted to keep my colors really muted today because we're about to do a few little Easter eggs. I want to show you how to pipe those, but just some cute little Easter cookie like this, right? And then come back and pipe a little bit of grass at the bottom, maybe add a few little decorations.
So
Mar has a great
last.
What was it?
Your transfers, the shelf life.
Shelf life? Oh, I keep mine a really long time, especially once they're fully dry. How long have you kept yours before? I mean, I'm talking
years. Yeah. Because of your store situation, I just thought maybe it was more strict.
No, there's no requirement on it, but I do everything according to proper food storage.
That's why I was saying you would maybe do something different than me.
No, they're good. you know, according to food safety, they're good as long as they're set up and everything. And I store them like you store them, you know, with the box.
Yes.
So that you're not going to get any moisture. So here's a couple eggs I made earlier, guys. I'm going to show you how to pipe those, but we're not actually going to use those because I wanted to spend more of the time. It's 10 till 2 already, and I wanted to spend more time on flowers. But I wanted you to have just some ideas. You know, I'm loving sprinkles. So these are just some basic Easter nonpareils. So you can just pipe your Easter egg in whatever color background you want, and you can add some nonpareils, and then you've got a nice, cute little egg that looks like it's white chocolate. These are beautiful if you want to make some flower centers. We're going to do that in just a second. Use the yellow. But look at this that I found. These are like little Easter confetti. Can you see those? And they're in green, pink, yellow, and blue. So this is really pretty to do an egg. This is just 3 colors of sanding sugar sprinkled on here. It's very bright in person. I don't know if that's transferring well on camera or not.
Yeah. Nadine,
I did want to show you one other thing. What was it, Mar?
Nadine was saying she made transfers, and after like 36 hours, they weren't dry. What do you think? I think maybe there's either she's got grease in her royal icing or she maybe overcolored it.
Yes, because they should be dry. They set up just like the icing on the cookie. So probably just something in the recipe.
Yeah.
Is that what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
All right. So let me come back to this. I wanted to show you an easy way to add grass if you're not comfortable piping the grass. I'm just going to put a little bit of green. This is really haphazard because I want it to look natural, right? I want it to look like Easter grass. But you know, all of the fancy little, and of course I cannot find, oh, here it is. Sorry, I covered up my tray. I want to do it in the bead tray so it doesn't go everywhere. So I'm just adding that green, and I am adding a green because it's going to be under grass. But you know all the fancy sprinkles that are out right now? Mm-hmm. This is like a perfect green to look like grass. If you don't want to pipe it, I have one of those cool little grass tips. Some people are really afraid to do thick icing in those tips, or they can't get it to just the right consistency. This is a nice way to put just a little finishing touch on and add some candy, which the kids will absolutely adore. So see, you can still, there's multiple ways to get the looks that you want on your cookie. Is it focusing?
Yeah.
And I love this rough. This would be really pretty to go back and put a little sun up there. You could do a little watercolor painting on this cookie.
I didn't see a couple of decorated garden themed cookies last year, and gardening was through the roof with regards to popularity.
Yes.
Here, you know, it's a new hobby. A lot of people were starting.
So much.
So many pretty cookies with the gardening theme.
Give me 1 second. I have a shelf on my dehydrator that the air seems to hit more. And so whenever I open it, if I forget to weight it down, then it blows out.
Oh.
All right. So here's another very muted pink. It's almost like a dusty rose or a mauve. Can you see that? As opposed to the bright pink I normally use.
Yeah.
So the reason I want to show you this is because I want you guys to start thinking now for Mother's Day. These hexagon cookies are quite beautiful when you place them together. So if you wanted to do a whole bunch of different florals and have some done, you know, pick your color scheme, try to stay with 3 colors or so, but you can have some done smooth. You can do some with this cool concrete texture, but then plan your florals. When you put this together on a plate, it's quite stunning. It's just very attractive. So the hexagon is, and it's any hexagon cutter will work. You just need them to fit together. But
yeah, the other thing too, Amy, if I can add, if you are doing that, measure your box and then maybe make some half hexagons so that they
hit the edges.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a great hint. I have not done that before, but that's even better because I often have to make small hexagon sets for the parties that are going to have little kids, because they want smaller cookies for them. That would be a perfect way to accommodate adults and kids all at one time. Okay, so I want you to look at this. You know, I have to work in some sprinkles. So these are in an Easter set, and they're little tulips. Aren't they sweet?
They are very nice.
So I think what we'll do with this one, just to give you an idea of some alternative things, this is my icing that I did my concrete with. So I'm going to use, again, the same color. I did test putting these candies. We're going to talk about this in a minute. But I tested attaching the sprinkles. When they're fully dry, they do not pop off the cookie. So these work quite well. In a few minutes, we're going to test a nonpareil chocolate bit. I use these on top of my cupcakes at Easter time. So we're going to test this, and then I'll let you guys know next Tuesday. I haven't actually, I suspect it will work, but I have not actually attached chocolate to a cookie like that. Like, we're going to make a royal icing transfer with that. So I want to test it today just to see what happens. But you can see I'm being generous with the icing. This is a very big sprinkle. This is, you know, a more typical sprinkle size, right? So you can see how large this is. This is about six of this little Easter egg.
Well, it's about like a fingernail.
It's as big as my thumbnail. It is. So I just thought this might be cool to try this. And what we're going to do is use our green that we used earlier. I'm just going to purge the tip. And you can do this with a 67 tip if you don't feel comfortable cutting your bag. I'm going to just test it to see which direction, because with the light green, it's kind of hard to tell. And what we're going to do is turn this cookie, and we're just going to put a little bit of piping right here coming straight up and then over the tulip to kind of wrap it on each of these. That's also going to give us a little bit more of security to the cookie. Now, this is where things are going to get you a little bit out of your comfort zone. You're probably not going to want to do this, but I promise you, if you just try it, you'll get really comfortable with it. I'm turning this slightly to the left because I'm right-handed. I'm turning my bag where my tip is going to be. My tip, you see right now, my tip is where I can make the leaves, right? It's like a chick would peck at you, right? I'm going to turn it on its side. And do you see what it does when you do that? You can make a nice stem. You see it? Mm-hmm. So I'm going to make the stems and come down to the bottom, but I need them to be a little tall. So this is really a great icing to do that with. So you see, I'm using one icing consistency. I'm using one tip. All right. So now I have this all coming down to the bottom. I'm going to give it a slight rotation, not a lot. And with low pressure, I'm going to be coming back and I'm going to be making the leaves that would come up a tulip. But you see, you guys, this is all with the same tip.
Very nice.
All right. So just a little bit of practice with these royal icing transfers, and you're going to see how much you can actually do with them without creating 100 tips to wash.
So Courtney, yes, she cut the bag. She's mimicking the piping tip, a leaf piping tip. Exactly. If you do have a leaf piping tip and you look at it, it's like a beak of a bird. She's mimicked that.
Yes. So Courtney, imagine a bird. Like if this is the bird beak and you can imagine it chirping, turn it so it's actually coming at you. And that's how we do these cool leaves around the top. And then I'm just going to use my scribe because I don't want these little bits breaking off. I'm going to use my scribe right here and just clean these up just a little bit. But that's all with the same tip. Super cute cookie, right? So we've got a lot of things going on. We've got sprinkles on there, which rang a bell for me. We've got texture, which I absolutely adore in cookies like this.
Clara's saying it wouldn't be alive without some candy.
Right? And then look how cute they fit together, right? It's beautiful. Now, Mar, it is exactly 2, but I'd like to show them how to pipe just a couple of flowers. Do we have time?
I'm good if they are.
Okay, if you guys want to hang out, you can watch this now or later, but I want to show you the other 2 transfer sheets in case you bought them today. I want to talk to you about those real quick.
So I just want to say again a thank you to everybody who's bought the templates today. Thank you very much.
Yes, and thank you for last week. You guys don't know, you sent me sailing through the whole week. It was so exciting. It was so exciting. I'd love to just film live tutorials for you guys all day long. So this helps so much. So if anyone is teacher or teacher background, you'll be familiar with these. These are fraction circles. So this is how they teach kids to take something and dissect it, right? And then they go and so this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So they teach you how this is 5, right? Then this one is 8.
So who knew when you were learning fractions and you didn't understand that you were going to need it to pipe royal icing flowers?
That's right. So when the kids tell you that everything they're learning, that they're never going to use it, you
Yes,
can tell
my
them.
gosh, yes.
You can tell them that we said you definitely will use it. So this is flower transfer sheet number 1. This is not just for Easter. So go ahead and grab these templates now from the site because you can use these for so many things. But this, we're going to come back. I'm going to show you how to do a 5-petal. And then I'm going to show you on this one. Did you guys know that daisies typically have 15 to 30 petals when you're piping daisies? So I'm going to,
yeah. That's why we use the petal there. He loves me not.
So this, we'll do one row of this and then I'll show you how to do another row on top. We're just going to do one of each of these. And then down at the bottom of your transfer sheet, do you see these little dots? This is so you can make a bunch of these ahead of time and use like the little colored nonpareils depending on which flower you're doing. You can pipe these, coat it with the little beads, and then all of your centerpieces are already done. You'll do these a little bit ahead so that when you pipe the flower, you just pipe that finished piece right into the center and your whole flower is completely finished looking. Very neat and tailored. Of course, we want it to look natural without looking sloppy, right? We always want it to look very tailored and finished, but still mimic the actual flowers.
I see the pansies.
I know, isn't this fun? So I put you a little pansy template on here just for you to keep in mind. I'm going to show you how to pipe this with a 101. We're going to use the smallest.
Oh, yes, it'll be small.
With the smallest tip for this to show you how to layer it. Then this is another one that you can use to get your little centerpieces prepped. And I'll show you how to pipe this flat and then pop a dot in it. This one, I'm going to show you a swirl technique. This is here just for you to take your eye and look. We're going to use, and I'm going to use 2 totally different colors because I really want you to see what the swirls are. But you can go in here like you're doing a coloring sheet and you'll fill this with one color, this with the color, this with the color, then come back. It's just to get you used to how you do those beautiful swirled roses with the wet on wet technique. You won't actually be making a flower that looks like this. You can if you want to. I think it will drive you insane, but you could try it. But it's more to get you into the technique of doing the swirl, okay? And then this one, we're going to use a tip that I have not shown you all before. It is a tip 18. This is a tip 18, and this is what a tip 18 looks like.
A happy face.
Yes, the smiley, right? Let me turn it so you remember the smiley face. Can you see that? So this is like for doing chrysanthemums. If you have one that's not quite so curved, this is great for doing that flower that I cannot pronounce, so please forgive me, but I believe it's a ranunculus. Is that how you say it?
I also have
you know, the one that's so beautiful. You can make beautiful cabbages, which is why I worked it into this lesson for you, because it makes beautiful cabbages. So you can have cabbages and carrots on your little Easter cookies.
Oh, yes.
And then this is just, you know, basic cookies to get used to doing petals. So we're going to pop back to this one first, because the thing I, of course, want to use, which is my favorite tip, if I'm ever on a game show and you all have to answer questions about me, this should not be a hard question. This is that Russian piping tip with the round point at the top, the slit down the side. I'm using Mars Trick, and I use the bag to cover part of the slit so that my ruffle won't be so big today. This is a number 80. The 80 and the 90 are my 2 favorite out of all of those cookies. I just adore them. They're beautiful for baby shower cookies. They're really good for, and how about we do this and let's do some blue. No, I know what we'll do. We'll do this nice heavy pink icing because I can put it on the blue cookie when we're done. So I'm just trimming the bag, my ice bag, so that it will slide right into this tip. So I can keep swapping out colors if I want to without needing a different tip for everything that we're working on. So hopefully you can see this on camera. It just slides right down in there. And let's make sure that it's not down in there so far that it's blocking that tip.
So you don't use a coupler because you find the switch is faster this way? Is that why?
For me, I guess I just got used to doing it this way with cupcakes and cakes. So it just kind of transferred to the cookies. But if you're familiar with doing the other, you might really want to do that. You know, that might be better for you. But let's pull out one of the cellophane, the bags, okay? And let's put this down. I'm turning this exactly opposite. So it's going to be face down. And watch how fun this is. Now, I'm just using my template. I'm not going to be rotating it, but I'm going to be rotating my bag. But this ruffle is so great. Can you see what I'm doing with my hand? Like I'm spinning, you know, like, you know, back in the day when they had vinyl records and people.
Oh, yeah, you're a DJ.
Yeah, they did the DJ bit where they did that scratching, I guess it was called. So look at what we're able to make with this tip and the right consistency icing. Isn't that beautiful?
To make your pansies, not your pansies, your poppies.
Yeah, yes, but I did the poppies just like this, but in 5 separate petals. So this is what I was going to do today because I want to see what this works like, if it works well or not. So you see this big, it's going to be really big in here, and I realize that, but I figured bigger is better, so we'll see if it stays attached. But I'm going to drop it right on there and just give it a little push. And we're going to see if that actually stays adhered or not. Now, I'm going to go ahead and make a bigger one. I want you to see what that looks like.
I'm Googling. Is that a morning glory? I'm looking it up.
I don't know. Does it have a real name? That would make me happy.
It's like a flower. It doesn't have petals, kind of ish.
They're ruffly.
Oh, yes. It is a morning glory, I think.
Is it?
I'll copy it and put it in the thing so you can see.
Now on this one, you guys, are you seeing how I'm picking up and breaking the ruffle so that I can make it larger? So a little bit of practice. These make great cupcake toppers. These are beautiful on the sides of wedding cakes, if any of you do cakes. But look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? So we're going to try one more. That one's a little bigger with the nice bright colored Easter bits in the middle. I suspect this will work just fine, but given that I haven't tried it, I will report back. But can you see what we were able to do with that? Beautiful. So pretty, right? Now, Mar, what's your guess? Is this chocolate going to stay in the royal icing? No problem?
No idea. No idea. The fat in it is what's causing me to
think it might pop off.
Yes. Okay.
Well, we'll see. We'll see next week. So for right now, guys, let's come back to this really quickly. I'm going to swap this pink out. And you guys would be so proud of me. I washed all of the tips that I had used in the last couple of weeks and all of my cookie cutters. I got everything all cleaned up again. I was so happy when I got to put everything away. Now we're going to swap to we still okay on time, Mar, if I do a few more?
Oh, yeah. I just wanted to show you here. I found it. Look at it.
Oh, it does look like that. So if we did blue and a yellow center with that ruffle, that would be gorgeous. Look at that, guys. So pretty. I love it. Yeah, definitely. It does a beautiful hibiscus, Courtney. It does. I've done you just have to get the color right and then pipe what's the thing in the middle of the stamens? You just have to pipe the stamens with a long singular tube and then the little dots on the end, and it makes a perfect hibiscus. So this is a tip 101. You see that it's the teardrop, and I believe it's the smallest teardrop. So we're just going to take this bag and see it's nice and clean because we had dropped it straight into the tip on the other one. So we're going to drop it straight in here, right? Again, nice and clean. Now, if you've taken a transfer class from me before, you know that I laminate my templates because I often forget and start piping right on top of the paper and then I ruin it. So normally these would already be in a page protector, but I couldn't find any yesterday. And I didn't want to run out just to get that. So I normally laminate my 6x6s that I keep all the time. So we're going to start with the fat end of the tip facing your body, the skinny end away. And we're going to work with 5 petals. So we're going to start in the middle. Oops, and actually let me purge that, get it all the way to the end of the tip. We're going to start in the middle. We're going to go up and we're going to come back. I'm going to try to rotate this so you can see what I'm doing. I'm basically just working within my circle. Can you see my area there?
Mm-hmm.
Now, normally I would cut these, I laminate them and I put them on a flower head, but I wanted you guys to have access to the template. You can do it on the template, it's fine. But you see, I'm using my circle to this is size to my cookie. So I'm using it really as my gauge for how far out to go with my petals. That's really what I'm using it for today, okay?
What's the tip on that, Tracy wants to know?
This is a 101. Now, just for fun, because it's Easter, I had pulled these little bits earlier, these little Easter eggs. So in this flower for the center, just because I'm doing these on some Easter cookies, for the center on here, I'm just going to pop some cute sprinkles in here. I do have the little yellow round beads that I pulled too, but I thought this might just be a cute little take for Easter.
Oh, that kind of looks like sometimes, you know, like a brooch type thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
See,
like,
look how pretty it is. If you do some up and some down, I'll lift it so you can see. But I thought if anybody got to looking at these too close, they'd see the eggs and realize what I did. I kind of like to hide things in the cookies. Can you see?
Yeah, very cute.
So it's cute. It'll tie in nice, right? And then we can come back with the bag that we trimmed earlier to be like the flower beak. And you can do it right now, or you can come back and do it later. But I'm going to go ahead and add my petal. I'm going to add 2 petals right now while everything's wet. So when these set up, then I can just pop that off. I can do a whole bunch of these ahead of time. I've got my color scheme already worked out. And then what I'll do is just pop that off, and that'll be the focal piece on one of my cookies.
So the royal icing transfers, especially if you're a beginner and you're, you know, holidays, like, you know, if you're making cookies for a birthday, obviously there's not a ton of birthdays on a given date, but a holiday, you know, advanced prep is what's going to make it possible for you to take a lot more order. So if you can get your details done and then pop them onto basic cookies, you can be
like this week with Easter, right? It's going to be crazy. If anybody cookies, you know, I'll be here doing that with you.
Yeah, it's a crazy weekend.
Now let's make a couple of rounds real quick. I'm going to do this so that you can see it. But if I were piping this in the store going fast, I would literally be just turning this bag straight up and down. I have a large hole cut. I feel something in the end of the bag. So let me just check this. No point starting if it's not going to come out right for us. So I'm just purging the bag there. Hopefully we'll be okay.
If you're new to decorating and making transfers, you can put your piping bag kind of like on a wet paper towel, like the end of it, so that you don't end up having like a super dry crusting situation on the end of your piping tips. I usually kind of like put a wet paper towel in a bowl like this, and then I press them against that wet paper towel so that the end doesn't get crusted when I stick my colors.
And if you have to clear the tip while you're working on it, you can always hit it just with a quick spritz of water, and usually that'll do the trick. Now let's pull the bead tray back in, because this is nonpareils, and nonpareils and me, we have a love-hate relationship.
Oh, it's the same for everybody. They do that quite a bit.
I love how they look, but they absolutely go everywhere. So my trusty baby spoon, my little yellow nonpareils, I'm going to go right over top of these. These are just going to be flower centers. They actually make very cute flowers too, if you want to put them on like this and pipe a couple of green leaves. But I just like to get them covered, run this off right in the tray. And then you let these set up, and then you have your flower centers all ready to go. Can you see that well?
Yeah, so if I can mention, when you're making, using non-pareil sprinkles, you do not have that much time to adhere that to the icing. They do not adhere. As soon as the crusting starts to occur on your royal icing, they do not adhere nicely. So you want
they start bouncing everywhere. So you know you've gone too long if they're bouncing.
You want to do 8, maybe 10, depending how fast you work, and then coat, and then do another bunch, because if you do a whole sheet of them, all you say, I'm going to do a sheet of them, and then try to pour your sprinkles on.
You just really can't, can you?
No.
I want to show you one flower I didn't put on here, but it's something that I have been quite fascinated with in the last few weeks. I'm going to pop back to the 101.
So Jeanette is asking, do you add corn syrup to your icing?
I do. I do 1 tablespoon per 2 pounds of sugar.
Okay, so she was asking, will it still dry? Yeah, it dries just fine.
It will. Yep, no problem. So let's do this Rosebud really quick, because I adore this. It's with a 101. I have the fat part of the teardrop down. Can you see that? Is it focusing? Okay, so we're going to make just a quick little rosebud. And so we attach and we come over and back. And then we can break it off right on there. So we've got a little tiny rosebud, but I'm going to do a 2-layer. So I like to let it attach, and then I go over and I come back, and then I connect here and I come back this way. And then if you need to, just take your scribe and clean up any little excess area there. These
very hard to see, Amy, because it's
I'm going to lift.
Very small.
These are so handy because they're tiny, so they're great filler.
Yes.
But that's just working right to left and then coming straight back over with one solid bit of icing. And then this is 2 pieces connected, but so beautiful with this little bit of addition. I'm going to lift this for you. But if you turn your flower upside down, come back with this, right now is the perfect time to go back and just add that little bit of green to come up and cup it like it would be on an actual rose. So when these dry, they're just delicate little accents. You can have a whole bunch of these ready ahead of time for baby onesies, for Mother's Day flowers, but you get the idea there. And 101 is my favorite tip to do those with. But I'll show you the pansy real quick, and then we'll wrap it up because we are definitely over. So we'll do a pansy really quick.
Tuesdays by now.
Well, we still have a lot of people on here, so I think they're still learning something. So I guess it's okay. So
and if you want to watch the live stream, if you're just arriving, it's saved on Facebook and on YouTube, and you can rewatch it, watch the whole thing.
So we're going to do a pansy real quick. Normally I would have 2 colors of icing in the same bag, but I'm just going to show you for the purposes. And I don't know if I can get this any lower for you. Let me see if I can get this any lower. Does that help any?
Well, yeah, I think it's good. I mean, just start working and we'll see.
So the background, your back 2 pieces, you want to do those first. So basically you're doing that same motion we did earlier. You need a nice thick consistency icing. Let me turn this since I'm right-handed. We do our back 2 pieces first, right? Can you see that on the template next to it? Mm-hmm. Then we come back and we work over those with this large petal here. Okay, can you see that?
So it's all the same size tip?
Mm-hmm. All the same size tip. You're just layering to make the pansy. So can you see that? Mm-hmm. Now I'm going to flip it completely around. And we're going to quickly do this front part while everything is still wet. And we're going to do that in one continuous motion because we want those pieces to join up. Now, when you do this and you do it with 2 colors of icing, the benefit of that is that you get that beautiful purple and yellow together. Right. And then if you want to, you can come back in here with one of those little confetti bits to make that centerpiece. Mm-hmm. You can just drop that in here. You can come back when this is fully dry with some edible markers and you can do some detail lines. You can dry dust this, but that's just your basic shaping of the petals. So this is very attractive with a dark purple and a yellow mixed together, or dark royal blue and a light yellow mixed together, and then pop in that little yellow bit, okay? All right, so that gets you started on your sheets.
Susan wants to know, do you have a darker color to show the rosebud again?
Yes, how about I swap it and do it in orange? So you know that that's not a color you would normally do a rosebud in, but I think the orange will show up, and I think it's the right consistency. That's
true. We've never seen really, right?
So just know when you watch it, this is for demo purposes only. I don't normally make orange roses. All right. So again, I've cut the bag larger so it'll slide right in. It makes it so easy when you go to clean these tips later. And I'm going to purge the end, get the pink out. We're going to just purge it till we see orange. So you can see about how long that takes. If it was another color behind the pink that went well with the pink, we could work at that point. Let me pull my roses back down here and let's see if you can see this a little better, okay? So working with the large part of the tip down, I'm just, get this out of the way. I'm going to touch down to where it attaches. Then I'm going to go over and come back. And there's a petal. Can you see that? Let me see if you can see that a little better. You see how you get that nice dimension in the center?
You're basically doing like a round.
Mm-hmm. So, but you work right to left and then come right back over for your little petal, okay? For your little buds. So you just have that nice shape. Now watch what we do here. You go over and stop, and then you're going to kind of go under and come back if you want a larger one. You see, I'll lift that for you. So it's interlocking, and the icing, of course, again, has to be really stiff for this to work. But it's not so stiff that it's hurting my hand, you guys. It really is comfortable to pipe with. It has a nice matte finish to it. But these are fabulous. They're a lot of fun, actually, once you start doing it. You know, you do about 10 of them, and maybe you throw those away or use them for something else. But they turn out quite nice, and they're just that perfect little detail that you don't want to do directly on the cookie when you're new to this or when you have to do a bunch because you're just not sure what it's going to look like. So let me lift those and just show you. Can you see those working back and forth and see how this has that nice interlocking shape there? So you add a little bit of green and then you're good to go. All right, Mar.
Awesome. Thanks.
That's it for me for today.
Well, thank you, everyone, for sticking with us all the way. It's an hour 20. We're 20 minutes over. We apologize, but we have so many things we want to share.
Yes. And now light the phone up. I'm going to turn the sound back on. So just go buy templates. And then I'll just sit here and listen to the noise. I love it.
You love the noise.
I do. I like it. I like it when people are getting things and they're going to try them. As a teacher, it makes my teacher heart happy.
Oh, that's it. Teacher heart. Yes.
Yes.
So right? Thanks everyone for joining us. Sticking to the end. And I'm going to be on Friday with Daniela. Hello, Justin. You're just arriving. I just saw you. And we'll be on Friday with Daniela and Sweet Ams at 1 o'clock as well. And then next Tuesday with Amy.
And what are you guys going to be doing, Marlon?
I'm doing some sort of a flower again. I've got some tulips cut, actually.
Oh, fun. Okay. I have a tulip tip to demo one day, but not today. We're a little too far over and it's totally new. So we'll come back and do that tulip another day.
That's it. There's so many things to write. It's infinite. Thanks, everyone. And we'll see you next Tuesday, and maybe I'll see some of you on Friday.
Yes. See you guys Friday. Bye.
Thanks.